Now I'd like to pass the mic to Richard Youngman, who is CEO of the Cleantech Group, to talk more about these issues. Thank you, Richard, and please tell me when you want me to advance to the next slide, since I'm in control here. Thank you, Richard. Welcome. Richard's joining us from London.
Sure thing, Jeff. Thank you. So I'll make some opening remarks. I think the idea is we each make a few opening remarks and then get into a longer conversation. So across mine, I'm going to cover three things. Very briefly, who are we? Secondly, how do we see this problem? And three, what are we doing to help? And we'll get into sort of more detail maybe in the fireside chat. But on who are we, I think the key thing to take away is our longevity. We've been at this since 2002. We're not an investor, we're not a trade association. We provide research, consulting, and events. But I think the more important part for you today is to know, if you don't know us, that because of this 20 years, we really are a global authority in terms of network of contacts and knowledge about what has happened in this theme, this innovation theme. So if we move to the next slide, the second part I want to picture to you is the fact that Cleantech is way more than energy and power, always has been. And there've really been four phases of innovation. If we can advance to the next slide, Jeff. I would characterize those four phases as follows. When we started in 2002, the early 2000s, we were pioneering. We were frankly explaining to people what the whole idea of this innovation theme was, why anybody might think about starting a business or investing in it. We moved into a second phase, which really sort of triggered those returns that JF was referring to of early cleantech funds. I would describe it post hoc as a kind of get rich off the solar boom phase, where people thought that because there were 2 or 3 successful IPOs, people could make a lot of money fast. And that dissipated pretty fast for various reasons we could talk about. We entered the 2010s in a period in which 3 key things were going on, in my view. One, the hype had gone away. So in Gartner's terms, we were in the trough of disillusionment. There's no doubt about that. But 2 other really key things happened. I think there was a lot of professionalization, a lot of setup, a lot of establishment of accelerators and incubators and programs to help entrepreneurs in this theme. We'll probably hear about 1 or 2. And the second was that the corporation, the large corporate, the industrial, became interested in open innovation generally and in this theme particularly. And they played a very important role, I would say, in keeping, if you like, the flame alive for the first part of the 2010s. But things have improved a lot. We hit the 2020s. This is phase 4, where, frankly, the ingredients in terms of innovation are all there. There is supply of high quality entrepreneurs. You could talk to any investor in this category now and they'll tell you how much that has changed. And in the last couple of years particularly, it is awash with capital. The problem we have is that we now need to move at absolute, what I'd call warp speed. The demand has to be identified and these companies' solutions scale, because we're not dealing with any ordinary business problem here. We're dealing with an externality that scientists will tell us has a very defined timetable. So we move to what are we doing? Well, I mean, on an everyday basis, we continue to do what we've always done, which is supply the information about startups and so forth, help corporations and government agencies think through how they play in this space. But I think the point today would be more about we're trying to create new conversations. We're trying to be in front of new audiences because the realization is innovators cannot do this alone. They will be a key segment if we can supply the playing field that helps them solve the problems we want to help, we need solved. So moving to the next part, in the spirit of looking for new ways, we have got much more involved of late with policy. With the support of the Breakthrough Energy Initiative, we launched Cleantech for Europe earlier this year, which is essentially a conversation between the policymakers defining the EU's policies and the innovation community. A conversation we feel